Once international law is violated somewhere, I say so openly. Mr. Prime Minister, I have stated openly that international law was also grossly violated in the aggression against Iraq, and I withdrew Slovak soldiers from the Iraqi mission as Prime Minister, because this is a principled position. In principle, I am one of those politicians, and Slovakia is one of a small group of countries. Prime Minister, that do not recognize Kosovo internationally because we think that international law has been violated. I say the same with regard to the use of military force in Ukraine. International law has been flagrantly violated. But please, let's not be so one-sided.
I am the Prime Minister of a government that is not large. I have neither fighter jets nor tanks on a scale that would allow me to deal with the international situation by force. We can only respond to the international situation by demanding strict compliance with international law. So if Russia has violated this right, then it needs to be said openly, as we are saying with Kosovo, or as we are saying with Iraq. I will go to Moscow on the 9th to pay my respects to the people who died during the liberation of Slovakia and Czechoslovakia. I will go to show respect and reverence for the millions of civilian victims, to show respect for the fact that, simply, whether we want to or not historically, the greatest contribution to the defeat of Hitler's Germany, fascism and Nazism, was made by the peoples of the former Soviet Union. This is my historical vision. That is why the Prime Minister surprises me. I know that this is a sensitive subject for many, that I have read the statement by the High Representative of the European Union, Mrs. Kallas. How can the High Representative of the European Union tell the Prime Minister of a sovereign state that she is warning him against traveling anywhere? How can he say that? And that supposedly it will not be taken lightly. What does that mean? After all, we are sovereign countries. I would not in my life dare to criticize the Prime Minister of your country if he decides to take a step that is based on historical truth. After all, this is about historical truth, nothing else. That is why I objected yesterday to the words of the High Representative of the European Union, Mrs. Kallas, in a polite way. But as long as Slovakia is a sovereign country, we have our historical memory, we have our historical experience. I cannot be ordered around by the Commissioner of the European Union, the Commissioner. She is a member of the committee on what to do or what not to do. I feel absolutely, totally comfortable about my extra visit. After all, we have to have a dialogue. We also need to talk to the other side about what the options are. In December 2004, I visited Moscow and I met with Russian President Putin, and that was a seriously important conversation. It was about gas, it was about war, it was about the possibility of ceasefires. I had first-hand information. We have to talk. We have to have fun, but we also have to have the ability. In these talks to speak our position, yes, violation of international law. We look at it differently. That's why it surprises me, and I say that now with a smile on my face. Such a nice Slovak word, I will say. I don't know if it's Slovak or Czech, but it's probably Slovak. I am surprised at the habit, or perhaps some other expression I would use, that causes me to go simply to lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Moscow, that I want to visit the sites in Moscow that were associated with the counteroffensive of December 6, 1941, and that I want to go in the afternoon to make it clear to the March of the Immortals. This is the march that millions of people walk with photographs of their relatives who died during World War II. That's my historical position, and I'm not going to change that. Nothing. There would have to be some circumstances. I don't know what the events in Ukraine will be like. We will send the appropriate representation of the state there if there is something in Kiev. If there is something in Lviv, the foreign minister or someone else will go there, or we will find some representation for Slovakia to represent Slovakia. But I can't be in two places. I'll be in Moscow on the 9th. Even at the price of, as Mrs. Kallas says, not taking it lightly and warning me against that path. I am too sovereign, and I have been in politics too long to be told what to do and what not to do. In any case, you can see that I have not avoided this issue, which some might consider to be extremely sensitive.